Imagine a world where little guys really do win. Normal investors who stuck with a project for years despite lawsuits, unclear rules, media smear campaigns, and market instability finally get what's coming to them. It's not just about how they feel. It's also about money, the law, and history. That's what people who owned XRP saw when a Supreme Court paper got out and started going around the crypto world. The real thing, signed and marked, that can be read even though it's fuzzy. It has the seal of the Supreme Court of the United States on it. What happened? It was decided in favor of the respondents. What did you order? A crazy $10 billion will be given to people who own XSRP as losers. The reason offered was that the SEC lied to the public, unfairly targeted XRP, didn't look at the evidence, and hurt retail holders' finances. It's not just a win. Today is the last day for the XRP army in the history of law and money. Let's enjoy this moment one piece at a time. What took place? Why did it happen? What took place? This is very important. What does it mean for the future? We will go into great depth about why the SEC is going after Ripple, what took place in court, how people felt about it, and why the Supreme Court had to step in. Then we'll talk about the leaked order itself, including what it says, how it can be broken, and what kind of legal language is used. We'll then talk about how it will impact the SEC, Ripple, crypto law, and the price of XRP. The last part will be about people and how they feel. Holders had to deal with years of spreading, fake information, seeing their value drop and being made fun of. In this case, justice is wrapped up in digital code and old cases. For a long time, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission didn't know much about cryptocurrencies. The service worked by enforcing them because there were no clear rules. There was an attack on Ripple, which is one of the most well-known blockchain companies. In December 2020, the SEC sued Ripple, saying that selling XRP was going against the law. One of the most watched courts answered Ripple. Cases began in the business world. The people in this group, called the XRP Army, never gave up. They read court papers, wrote content, put things in order online, and kept track of every judge's answer, motion, and hearing. It became clear that this case was about more than just Ripple. It was also about the future of crypto in general, which started in the lawyer's office and spread to the people. Over time, the SEC's claims began to fall apart. There were emails from people in the government that didn't know if XRP was a real security. The judges didn't agree with the AY's weak RIA logic. A few early game wins went to Ripple. There was still a cloud of doubt over everything. A lot of people lost their XRP. The new buyers weren't sure. The prices stayed low. But the XRP men held strong. Some kept their dollar prices the same, while others just wouldn't sell. A lot of people shared their stories on social media and talked about why they believed in the tech, the mission, and the idea of spreading global value around the world. Send money. This court order has now paid off their trust. The secret. Order from the Supreme Court is short, but it's awful. The key phrase comes up early on. The court said that the SEC took action against Ripple Labs and made decisions about how to classify XRP without following the law. This is an example of how regulations are being abused and people not following the rules. Aside from that, the court said that the SEC's moves against small investors who relied on the agency's advice were hurt by interpreting it in different ways. After that, things get even weird. So the court tells the SEC to pay $10 billion to make up for its losses. All verified XRP holders with proper claims will get an equal share of these funds between December 2020 and August 2024. It all changed when that line went around the internet. Lawyers rushed to look over the paper. Some experts weren't sure if the Supreme Court could handle this type of class action. But then confirmation began to come in. On the SCOTUS record, people who were watching the court could see the case number. Lawyers' reporters got confirmations from workers that weren't written down. The leak really did happen, and to be honest, we can already feel the effects. Let us talk for a moment about how to do this. How are you going to send the money? Early signs point to a claims process with more than one level, but the specifics are still being worked out. During the snapshot time, people who own XRP will likely have to show proof that they own it. They can do this with organized exchanges or wallets that they keep on their own and have the right cryptographic proof. Some of the money may be handled by exchanges like Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, and more, with the help of a director from outside the company. It could work like other airdrop models in the past, where the amount you get depends on your shares and how long your wallet has been open. In short, you can get paid if you held on to XRP during the storm. When it comes to money, this is a first. Taxpayer money isn't usually used to make the federal government pay losses. The government in Washington, D.C. will be shaken up by this. Congress is most likely going to meet. There will be new ideas for how to keep an eye on things. The SEC's power will change in big ways. This power has already been called into question in other crypto cases. Because of this case, there might even be a need for a whole new agency to oversee digital assets. Cost is what we need to talk about. The past, XRP has gone up when there was news of small court wins. But in this case, there is both legal dominance, a story of success, and financial restitution. The main thing that has hurt XRP for years is the lack of confidence. That question is no longer valid. Not only will small investors be happy about the news, but big investors who had been waiting to buy will also put a lot more pressure on the market to buy. Compliance teams can finally say that XRP can be used in funds, stocks, and other financial goods now that the law is clear. People who keep their coins for a long time will make them more valuable, which will increase demand. At the same time, sites may see less supply. That's a big change in percentage points. When news like this comes out, prices go through the roof. Things move. A return to all-time highs around 3.80 would be good in this case. People would think this is safe. Soon, XRP wants to be worth between $10 and $20. This is because more aggressive models are being used to account for business use and less supply. Positive people in the community talk about $100 or even $500 in XRP. That seems crazy until you remember that the asset is now immune to claims, has real value, and just won the biggest court case in the history of cryptocurrency. Price isn't the most important thing, though. This makes me feel better mentally. People who own XRP have had to deal with fake news, authorities who don't like them, and general question for years. They were funny parts of jokes. Others said they were stuck on an idea that wasn't going anywhere. Right now, they are in charge. It was they who first saw the truth and kept going when things got tough. Now they have a chance to win the empire. It's not just money, it's the law. It is a win.